Awesome. So some of you may have already met me or know who I am, but my name is Kirsty Skogerbo, and I'm the Writing Studio Assistant. If you are not familiar with what the Writing Studio does, we offer in-person consultations for undergraduate students, and we offer written feedback for graduate students on any kind of paper that you're working on. And we think that feedback is important for every writer. So some people think that the Writing Studio is just for bad writers, and that's not true. It's for every kind of writer. And our goal is to empower you and help you to improve in your writing skills and in your critical thinking skills, and be a help to you in your education process. So I hope that you take advantage of those appointments in addition to workshops like these ones. So this workshop is for anybody who has ever struggled to write a first draft, which I am definitely one of those people. I think probably 99% of writers experience that difficulty. And that's why brainstorming is so important. So when we think about why to brainstorm, brainstorming helps people overcome writing anxiety. This is a real issue. I know students who legitimately feel sick to their stomach every time a paper comes due. And when you learn how to effectively brainstorm, that can help you not just mentally, but even physically. Brainstorming helps you deal with writer's block. The lie of writer's block is that you don't have anything to say, but that is not the same as actually not having something to say. So brainstorming can help you figure out the words and ideas that you do want to put down on the page. And it doesn't just help you put those ideas on the page, it actually improves the quality of those ideas. So when you organize your thoughts, you improve their strength and focus. And not only that, but you also improve the structure of your paper because you're laying out your information logically and coherently because you've put some thought into how you want to put it together. And all of this together just results in clear, persuasive communication, which is a major goal, especially of academic writing. Before we dig into the specific brainstorming techniques that we'll talk about today, I think it's important to note that the brainstorming process looks different for different kinds of students and writers. So some writers need to gush their ideas, and they do that through like free writing and drafting, and they just like word vomit onto the page. And that can be super helpful to just get something down. A lot of times gushers will spend a little bit more time in the revision process because they've just put all the words they can think of onto the page, and then they have to work on editing that a little bit more. Other writers are ekers. So they spend a little bit more time planning what they're going to write before they actually write it. So that might look like a lot more outlining. And because of this, because they've done a little bit more planning on the front end, they usually spend a little less time in the revising process. So I just want you to think about which of these two categories you might fall into as we discuss the brainstorming strategy so that you can kind of just keep an eye out for which ones might be the most helpful for you. So the three strategies that we're going to talk about are these: listing, clustering, and then free writing and looping. Okay, so listing. This is a pretty simple process. So at the top of a piece of paper or at the top of a document, you're going to write down a topic or problem or question that you're wrestling with or that has been brought up by an assignment prompt. And you're going to list all of the ideas that you can think of that are connected to that topic, problem, or question. And literally any idea is on the table. You can write anything down that comes to mind. And you want to spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes doing this because you're just trying to you're going for quantity, not quality. And once you finish listing those things, you're going to go back and reflect on the ideas that you developed. And that's when you can kind of put items into related groups. You can put asterisks or check marks next to promising ideas. You can number and reorder the ideas in order of importance. Combine like ideas, cross out items that don't seem like they're going to be helpful. And keep adding new ideas as they come to you. So that's listing. And if you have any questions throughout this, you can go ahead and unmute yourself or just throw it in the chat and I'll try to make sure I see it to answer it. Clustering works like this. Again, you're going to write a topic, idea, problem, or question, this time in the center of a piece of paper. And then in the space around that main idea, you're going to write down as many concepts or terms that are related to that idea as you can come up with. And again, don't worry about how the ideas are worded or ordered on the page. You just want to keep writing down anything that comes to mind. And if you run out of ideas that are similar to this central idea of your piece of paper, you can try writing down opposite ideas or things that are just barely related, but just to try to keep that flow of words coming. Once you're finished jotting down those ideas, then that's when you can start the clustering process. So you can use different colored pens or markers and circle or highlight the terms and concepts that seem like they might be related to one another. So some of the terms or concepts might be left uncircled, and that's okay, because these might be useful in helping you to kind of determine other paths of research that you might take, or counter arguments or things like that. And then once you have this cluster of ideas, then you can start to organize those ideas into like a scratch outline or something like that. So we're gonna practice this now. I want you guys to spend 5 minutes doing either one of these strategies. And again, you can take an assignment prompt that you've been given by a professor or just take an idea that's in your head, but practice one of these two things for the next 5 minutes. Okay, so hit pause on your brainstorming now. We're going to, at this point, do some organizing, which you might have already started doing. But this is where you want to start looking at what ideas are similar, what things can I group together. If you're doing clustering, do some color coding. Otherwise, if you're doing listing, you can see here they're using like brackets and underlinings and stuff like that. So take probably about, we'll just do 3 minutes to start organizing the thoughts that you already put together. Okay, so hopefully you had the chance to kind of start that organization process, and it's okay if you didn't finish because you can take this with you after the workshop is over. Um, but maybe you've already started kind of asking these questions, but as you look at your organization process after you've done that brainstorming, that's when you can start to ask yourself, what ideas stand out to me? Are there things that I want to explore further, to do further research on? Do I have new questions? The start of an outline. So these are things to keep in mind as you kind of finish those brainstorming processes. So we're going to talk about one more style of brainstorming that might be helpful, and this is free writing. So when you free write, again, like the other two, you're going to write a question or topic or theme at the top of a piece of paper, and then you're going to spend 5 minutes responding to that idea without stopping. And I really mean without stopping. So like if you hit a wall and you don't know what else to write, you can literally just write the last thing, the last word that you wrote over and over again until something new comes to you. Don't stop to think, don't stop to self-edit, just keep writing and writing. And then when you examine what you wrote, you're going to look for the strong ideas that could lead to an interesting thesis or another question that you want to explore. So let's do 5 minutes practicing free writing, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so hopefully you've got something written down. And then as you look at what you've written, try to pick out one idea that you think could go somewhere, um, and take that idea, or maybe it's a question, and again write it at the top of your piece of paper. And you're going to free write for 5 minutes again. And this is called looping, where you just kind of keep narrowing that process of free writing until you have like several strong ideas that are developed. So again, take an idea or question that you wrote down in your free write it at the top of a new page, and free write again for 5 minutes. Okay, so you can pause on your looping. Once you have developed some of these ideas that you think are stronger ideas, that's when you can kind of start making an outline. And as you do that, think about the genre that you're writing for, because that will inform the kinds of details that you want to include. So are you forming an argument? Are you telling a story? Those are going to require different kinds of details. So keep that in mind. And then you're going to start inserting these details into the structure of your outline, and you can expand and contract the outline as you need to produce a strong roadmap for your paper. And keep in mind, these are tools to help you in your writing process. They're not like rules that you have to follow. So use these ideas only insofar as they're actually helpful to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and send you guys a PDF that has these different tactics that we talked about today, in addition to some other ones as well. Hopefully, it will send okay. All right, can you give me a thumbs up if you have access to that? Awesome. Great. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, you can do brainstorming with a writing studio consultant. If you are struggling to figure out what to write about, come into the writing studio and you can talk through that. Even practice some of these strategies with somebody, or even for the OWL, if you're trying to figure out what to write about, the online writing consultants can help you with that too. So good luck as you come up with what you want to write about. And I hope to see you again in our future workshops. So take care, guys. And I'll stick around if anybody has some questions too.
Thank you.
Thank you.